Okay, Mike, your toy is up, by the way.
Okay.
Facebook isn't turned on it yet because we can't do that till we go live. What? Guess I gotta add I. Okay. That's good. I actually got both my reviews written today.
Yay. Proud of you, son.
Well, it helps when you have the day off.
Yeah.
Ah.
I didn't.
Wow, I have a big head.
Working on it.
Right there. That's good.
And that's what happens when you put up one with a picture on it. You did that, right?
What?
You put the overlay on?
No.
No. Well, I didn't do it.
Log out of vMix and see that's coming up from vMix. I'm not.
Right.
I wasn't approving anything.
You weren't
from
approving?
the messages.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
All right. Let me take a look at
Let me see. Hold on. Maybe I can.
Oh, it's in the queue. That's why. Okay. All right. It was in the queue. That's why. I thought I had marked it as removed from queue. Because if you add something to the queue, then every once in a while it'll show up on the screen. It just cycles through the queue.
Oh. Okay. I never knew that.
Yeah. Oh, I guess I gotta eat. Oh, fudge. Didn't get that loaded. Son of a bitch. Oh well. I'll just strike the audio off of the video and we'll be okay. All right.
That son of a bitch. Can I say that on the air? Son of a bitch.
Can you give me a 5 count real quick, Mike?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, better.
Syphilis. Syphilis.
You had been a little low on some of the recording, so I just boosted you up just a touch.
Okay.
All right, ready?
Sure.
All right.
And now, back to PTR Radio with Mike, the Ape Man. Mike, the Ape Man.
My mother had one of those Euro sealers, and I swear to Christ, she tried to Euro seal everything. I was afraid to piss my pants, afraid she'd try and Euro seal my dick. I swear to God, she fucking used that thing on everything.
PTR Radio.
And welcome, everybody, to another edition of PTR Radio here in the fabulous interweb. Oh, it is going to be a show. Because honestly, we didn't do a whole lot of prep for this one, I don't think. I mean, we had some links that we shot back and forth, but I think we've all been extremely busy between the last show and this show.
Yeah.
Which is always good, you know, to some degree. I mean, we want to be busy because then we have more stories to share with the audience, you know? Colin, I think we got to start off with you.
Okay.
Because you were absent from our last episode.
Yes, I was.
All right. And you did something which my wife described as insane.
Okay.
And I'm sure that there are probably some other people out there that feel the exact same way as she does. So now that it's over, can you give us a glimpse into what you did?
Sure. So, first crazy thing I have done in my life related to this subject is about a timeshare.
Yeah.
Which usually most people would consider a bad purchase.
Well, most people try to avoid timeshare pitches like the plague.
Yes. So 3 or 4 years ago, I bought into the DVC, Disney Vacation Club, which is Disney's timeshare. And so shortly, I bought it resale. And after I bought it, they tightened down so that if you bought resale, then you don't get all of the perks. But I was grandfathered in, so I still get the perks. And one of the perks that they have are these, they're called Moonlight Magic parties. And the way it works is you have to sign up, you have to RSVP.
Mm-hmm.
There's only a certain number of people who can do it. But at 6 or 7 p.m., depending on the park and what time of year it is, you and up to 5 people, or the number of people in your room, if you have one of the larger rooms, you can pile them in, can enter the park for free.
Oh, sweet. Because that in and of itself is a big savings, because I just read today that Disney is upping their rates.
Yeah, it happens every February. Universal will be open probably next week. They'll be upping their rates as well.
Now, they said that during their economy days, that means that I think everything above a youth is like $104 a day.
Yeah, that's if you're only going for one day.
Yeah, single day. Yeah.
Which, if you go multiple days, then the prices go plummet quickly
Okay.
per day. So then you get to the park, like I said, 6 or 7 p.m., and then a couple hours later, the park closes for all of the non-party people.
So is it just like, bar closing time where they say you don't got to go home, but you can't stay here? I mean, how do they shuffle out the rejects?
So, well, first off, everybody there for the party has one of those plastic bands on your wrist, the kind that snap closed and don't come off.
Okay.
And so,
so you're all hospital patients.
right. So when the park closes officially, then if you don't have that band, then you cannot get any rides, and you can't get any food. You can't go into any of the shops. All you can do is wander around.
Okay.
They don't force you out. In fact, I have a story on that. I'll get to it.
Okay. I want to see Mickey, manhandling somebody out the door and say, "Get your ass out of here!"
So the way that the way it works on a normal night is that security just kind of, as people leave sections of the park, security walks and then keeps people from passing them, and they just keep doing that until everybody has gone through the front gate, and then it's closed. They're very, very nice about it. I mean, I'm not sure how long you could actually spend in the park before they finally start telling you to get out. But for the most part, they don't. So anyway, most people go out, and so then the park is there just for people there for the DVC party, for the Moonlight Magic. At that point, then you have a much smaller number of people in the parks. The rides are still going, and they have free food. So you go to the places, and they have hot dogs. This time they had like veggie burgers for people who didn't want to eat meat. But they also had chicken nuggets and cookies and apples and carrots and free soda.
Okay.
And Mickey premium ice cream bars. So
Okay.
So we spent all the way from, so basically I was able to get my sisters, brother-in-law, and nephews into the Magic Kingdom for about 6 hours.
That's pretty good.
And all I had to pay for is what we have. I got like $80 round trip plane tickets, and one night, 2 rooms for one night at the All-Star movie or music, which cost me about $109 each. So it was pretty affordable. Basically, got everybody down there for a couple $100.
Now
several $100.
you guys
Not bad.
spent a week down there, probably.
We flew down Sunday morning.
Okay.
The party was Sunday night,
Uh huh.
and then we flew back Monday.
So you were there for 24 hours.
Yeah, a little over 24 hours because the flight arrived there, like I said, Sunday morning, and then our flight out was 9 p.m. Monday night.
Okay, so 36 hours.
So
Wow.
we spent the day at Disney Springs shopping, and before we took the Magical Express back to the airport. Now, here's the thing. It was raining.
We saw the pictures with ponchos.
It was raining a lot. I had the outer layer of my Columbia exchange coat, like that one right there.
Uh huh.
Yeah, well, they may be water resistant, but when that much water comes down on you, it starts getting...
Was it basically Splash Mountain?
So here's what I said.
Mm-hmm.
After we went on Thunder Mountain, I said, it's too bad Splash Mountain is closed, because it is at that time of year.
Yeah.
It's too bad it's closed. We could have ridden on that and dried off. We were incredibly wet. But it wasn't that... It was in the mid-70s.
Uh-huh.
So it was like we were freezing.
Right.
And it was a lot of fun. But here's the story.
So you had 36 hours of fun.
Yeah. So here's the thing, though. We went like on Space Mountain 3 times in a row, and we were having fun making... I think you saw some of those pictures.
I think we actually brought some of them up
Yes.
when you were looking like a serial killer.
Yes, we decided to start making funny pictures on Space Mountain. One of them was like Me and my siblings did See No Evil, Hear No Evil,
Speak no evil.
Speak No Evil.
Yep.
So we're having a blast. But so one of the things we did was eat.
Yeah.
Okay? So we went to the Pinocchio place with food. Okay, the place is full, so we just managed to find ourselves a table. And I'm sitting there eating my hot dogs and chicken nuggets. I look over, and there's this table sitting, close to me. People are like jammed into this place, trying to find places to sit with their families and eat.
Was it Dean Cain?
It was a college student.
Oh, damn.
Sitting there at a table for 4,
Mm-hmm.
doing his homework.
At Disney?
Yes.
Was he an employee?
No.
Who?
Was he being punished?
Yeah. What?
He's just decided to do his studying.
At the
Magic
noisiest
Kingdom.
place in America.
He's just sitting there taking up an entire table where families could a family of maybe 7 people could have crammed into this table. But no, he has it covered with his pieces of paper, the entire tabletop covered with pieces of paper as he studies on his laptop.
All I can think of is the monster truck rally must have closed early, so that was the next loudest place he could think of.
And he did not have a party wristband. So he was literally just someone
So he was camping out.
He was camping out at Disney World, studying for his college classes. And I'm looking at that going, on one hand, I'm annoyed that you're using one of my tables.
One
On
of
the
your
other hand-
tables.
Yeah.
One of your tables. How dare he come into my Disneyland? This cretin without a wristband.
Well, considering I had 6 people crammed around a table, roughly the size of half of this table that we're sitting at right now, it could have been my table. But the
Forget
other thing-
Mickey throwing people out. Colin's going to throw people out. Get the hell out of here. You're
Well-
making on my table.
But
Here's the question: What was he studying?
like,
Like, what topic? Is it something you could have sat down and been like, okay, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to eat and I'm going to tutor you?
no, it's like some advanced physics stuff. It was.
Maybe he was
Occasionally.
doing roller coaster dynamics.
But the other hand is, I was looking at it going, man, I wish I could have studied at the Magic Kingdom when I was in college.
You never would have. You never would have graduated. You'd have been too into everything. I think.
Yeah.
I don't think you would have been able to focus.
No. No. If you would have grown up in Florida or California, you would not be the person you are today. All right? You'd be running around in a costume.
Yeah.
All right? You would be, what's his name from Wreck-It Ralph. You'd be Wreck-It Ralph from Wreck-It Ralph.
But I'd probably weigh less if I had grown up in Florida.
I don't know. I don't think
it'd
where
probably be,
you
yeah.
I don't think where you grow up dictates how much you weigh.
I don't know. If I had more access to the beach, I could have gone out to the beach more. I probably would have.
That's going to make a difference, really?
Actually, doing things would have made a difference. Yes.
You could do things here.
What?
Well, I mean, we had a beach. It's closed now, but we had one.
We had a beach.
It was open when you were younger.
Yeah.
All right.
But the reason it's closed.
We
is the
have
reason
health
I
clubs
went.
here with pools. There's actually a sand volleyball league in this town.
Yeah.
I don't remember your name on any of the rosters. There are lesbian softball teams you could join. There's all kinds of things you could do.
Okay.
I don't
Anyway,
know if you know, but this is the entertainment mecca for Illinois.
So that was the trip. One night in Disney World in Orlando, flew down. What was it? Come on.
So yeah, I just can't imagine going someplace. I mean, the closest thing that I can get to that is when we were in DC for work that one time several years ago, and I knew I had to get something for my grandson, my oldest grandson, who was like 3 or 4 at the time. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, where can I get him something cute that's close around here? And I thought, wow, the Air and Space Smithsonian. I should be able to find something there for him, maybe a little astronaut or whatever.
Yep.
And so I had 30 minutes, and I'm like, well, I'm not just going to, one, I don't know where the gift shop is, and two, I'm not just going to go to the gift shop and walk out. I want to make the world's fastest tour of the Air and Space Museum. So I ran through the floors, basically going, ooh, neat, okay, yeah, next, yes. All right, that's the closest thing that I came to was a 30-minute tour of the Air and Space Smithsonian to buy a little stuffed bear in an orange astronaut outfit. All right, that was the closest thing. The next closest thing would have been you and I, knowing that we wanted to get a beer in was it the Brownstones?
I forget where we're going.
It was the Cobblestones area, the old part of DC.
We're finding a beer, yes.
Yes. We wanted to have a beer in like the how do you like them apples type of area of DC, right? And
Okay.
But when we left, it was already 9:00, and the train stopped running at 10:30, some weird hour like that. And we knew it was like a 45-minute train ride to get there. So, and then it was a sizable walk.
Yes, it was. That was a sizable walk.
I think we looked after. Before we left, we thought, oh, it's like 2 or 3 blocks. It was like 2 or 3 miles, is what it ended up being.
But we made it.
We made it. We sucked down a beer real quick, and then we ran back to the train station, and barely made it on the last train back. That was the second closest that I ever got, but we got our beer. But again, I was already in those locations. I didn't take a plane to go somewhere for 36 hours.
The closest that I've ever come to that was like for work. I left at like 6 a.m. to go fly to Hartford, and then was back at 5 o'clock that night. That's the closest I've ever done to like a whirlwind kind of tour like that.
So basically, we had a one-night vacation to the Magic Kingdom for 6 people, and it cost about $700.
See, that's just... I understand. It's an experience. You'll probably never forget it. Like you said, it's probably the craziest thing you've ever done. And I applaud you for doing it. Yeah. I would not have.
I'd probably do it again.
And that's cool. I think that's good. Me, I think, okay, well, that kind of ingenuity on your side should be able to find us some cheap flights to Vegas and a good hotel. So, because we're still working on that plan. Which, by the way, an update on that plan, I had originally said that there was no way I was going to be able to go without the wife, but she did say, and I might have mentioned this before, that Colin can be my date on that. So, Mike, you got to find a way to spin off Kim. All right? Send her with a girl. Tell her she can take a girlfriend, whatever. But, the boys trip.
I'm sorry.
The boys trip.
Where is this again?
Vegas.
Oh, yeah. We've had this discussion. That's not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this isn't the cross-country train trip. This is Vegas.
No, that's not going to happen without Kim.
Well, she can go. Just tell her to bring a girlfriend to keep herself entertained.
Oh, I don't think that'll be a problem. I don't think that will be a problem. Suddenly, this trip has become a lot more expensive because I'm going to wind up paying for the friend.
Well, and I have already been told, hey, you guys got to take a lot of pictures while you go there because your website really needs you 3 all together. Okay. Yeah, we're going to have to do like 10 photo shoots. But whatever, we'll do it. But yeah, it's, now, let's see here. Mike, let's go to your link here about an 84-year-old woman who didn't like the kids next door.
Yeah, well, basically, a California woman has become the epitome of crotchety old person. 84 years old, the neighbor's kids are making too much noise, so she decided to fire her handgun in their general direction. Not at them, just kind of like... because they were riding their motorcycles up and down the street. And this poor woman has been, no one was injured, which I'm not saying makes this right or makes her punishment unfair. However, she was arrested on suspicion of assault with a firearm. Well, you got a whole heck of a lot of witnesses saying that she shot the handgun in their general direction. So I don't think it's suspicion, but I also don't think it's assault because she didn't touch any of them. Child endangerment, and she's being held on $50,000 bail.
Wow.
Now, I am admittedly, and I can't say whether I'm proud or not of this, but I am admittedly turning into the crotchety old man who yells at the kids to get the hell off my lawn. But I don't think I would ever start firing a gun in their general direction.
Well, let me ask you this, Mike. Do you have one of those neighborhood like Facebook things? Like nextdoor.com for your area?
Well, we have like town groups, on Facebook that I'm members of, and people are always complaining, oh, they speed up and down my street. They don't stop for the school bus here. The price of milk is too high here. I bought expired bread at this place.
Yeah, so we have our subdivision here uses a dedicated Facebook type thing called nextdoor.com. It's just Facebook for subdivisions, whatever. And so, we get those same things. I got a note about stolen property off of somebody's front porch. I got a note about a repeated egging, and that they were going to start coming out with their shotguns to try and catch these 3 girls in this SUV that were throwing eggs at cars. And, and then somebody else, God, it seems like it generates at least 5 messages a day. Stolen yard lights, stolen fire pit, house and car egging. Let's see here. I saw an SUV of girls egging houses' cars last Wednesday around 6:30. I called it into the cops and posted it on this page. Black Cadillac SRX SUV with Vietnam vet plates, COX, and an SHG sticker. Oh my God, those Catholic schoolgirls. Assuming it was a parent or grandparent's car. Well, no, the school children are Vietnam veterans, idiot. This was happening right around the corner of blah, 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 blah. I watched them egg a house on Hood, so I followed them to call it in. Then they stopped at a house near blah, blah, blah. Hopefully they catch the drift that we're all watching them. And then she goes to describe the people. And then everybody wants a follow-up. Did the police do anything? What happened? I really don't get the egging trend. There was one that was a Dog Bat King, which kind of threw me for a loop when I read the title, because I'm like, Dog Bat King? What the heck kind of thing do we have going on now? They meant dog barking, but they can't be bothered to spell check on this site. Yep, Dog's Bat King. I have thought a lot about whether to post this or not, but once again, I was woke up before 5:30 because of barking dogs. I wish people were more considerate of their neighbors. Just because you are awake doesn't mean everyone else is. I'm telling you, in a society where everybody carries, we're going to have more shootings.
Okay, so apparently vMix is messing up because I can't see who is. I'm going to send this through here. Yeah, I don't know if it's working or not because it's not coming up. They're coming up with broken links as far as the from name and from photo.
Oh.
But Dune writing in saying that's a good site, nextdoor.com. Mama Blair wrote in before, battery is touching, assault is not necessarily touching. Okay. Kim said not a problem at all, I guess, about going to Vegas. Kenna said she took a 36-hour trip to Vegas with you, Colin.
Yes, you did.
All right. And Dune also wrote in before saying, "I'm guessing if he was born in North Korea, he may weigh less." Just saying. I don't.
By the way, every time that you said she shot in the general direction, I feel like you should have been saying that in an outrageous French accent.
Yes. Yeah, in my head, I'm hearing it that way too. But
All right. Close the webpage and open it back up, Mike, and we'll see if that works any better.
okie dokie.
But of course, Dune said he liked the site, but with everything good, there's bad. So we get tons of advertisements for free scrapyard removal, and we get, hey, I need a plumber. Okay, well that's what Angie's List for. Go look at it. Dogs are missing, and here's a refrigerator. Anybody want to buy it? By the way, you got to take it up these dangerous stairs, and it's just a bunch of, it's a bunch of advertisements is what it is. Sometimes there's a found dog. Here one, dog poo. Got dogs, and you've got poo. If you need poo cleanup, I recommend Pain in the Grass. Josh will not only clean up the poo, he will check your yard for possible escape routes and pet hazards.
Mom Blair writes in because eggs were cheap at Aldi.
Yes, Aldi's.
Aldi,
yeah.
Aldi, whatever.
Oh, maybe it was those Olympians. Did you hear that story?
No.
One of the
one of the teams, yeah.
One of the teams wanted like 1,500 eggs for their chefs to make eggs for the team.
Oh, geez.
But don't say 1,500 eggs to Koreans who don't really understand the American, not the English lingo that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they received 15,000 eggs.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of eggs.
Yeah.
That's a lot of egging. You can make a lot of houses with 15,000 eggs.
That's a lot of them.
Well, speaking of the Olympics, all right.
Yes.
There's a huge. So figure skating was last night.
Yes.
And apparently NBC they should just give up on the Olympics, because last Winter Olympics was the year of the pink eye.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And this year, it seems like their broadcast is just all screwed up. They tweeted and Facebook post the results of, what was it, the half pipe, 15 minutes before it aired on TV. So basically they spoiled their own broadcast because of the tape delay.
It depends on which broadcast. The problem is that they were showing it live on the NBC Sports Network.
Okay.
So if you're watching it on NBC Sports Network, you're watching it live. If you're watching it on NBC Primetime, then you would have watched it delayed. So the actual tweet came out the same time the NBC was showing it.
Ah. Okay. The problem here is that most people have been watching it on NBC Primetime.
Right, which is a stupid way.
So, agreed. So we have that. We have the announcer who made some kind of comparison between Japan and North Korea, not realizing he would piss off an entire nation in doing so.
A moron. So I watched. Oh, I didn't realize. I watched. See, I got up at 4:30 a.m., took a shower, and watched the opening ceremonies at 5 a.m. Central. Because that way I watched it live with absolutely no NBC commentary. And that was great. And then we decided just to see what happened. So we saw that guy that night. He was the official NBC Asian sports correspondent.
Oh, you'd think he would know.
Well, you could tell by looking at him that he actually is mixed. So you would think that he would know better, but the amount of crap that came out of his mouth, where he was like, "Oh, over the next several Olympics, we'll see all the Asian cultures," and people are like, all the Asian cultures. So Korea, China, and Japan are all the Asian cultures. Ignore everybody else.
Yeah, wow.
Like, India, most of Russia, all the Istan.
Yeah, so
Let me ask
I'm surprised the guy still has a job, to be honest with you.
No,
But-
he doesn't.
Does he sound
Oh, they
anything
got-
like Trisha Takanawa?
No.
No? Oh, then I am highly disappointed because I really want to hear somebody
This has
that
been
sounds like
Trisha
this.
Takanawa with the news, and now I will have my normal post-news review from my mom in her car.
You're not good. You're not good on news. You're stiff like watching board. Joe London was so happy. Trisha.
So no, he was canned after that.
Oh,
So he
Good.
He is not showing up anymore.
So,
But I do have an Olympics thing I want to talk about. Go
Okay.
ahead.
well, then we have the wardrobe malfunction on the South Korean figure skater,
Which I watched with Leslie Jones's commentary when that first happened.
right? And last but not least, the internet is blowing up right now because the American skater who was the first American woman to land a triple axel in competition.
Uh-huh.
Everyone is going nuts because they thought she had a USA tattoo on her thigh.
oh yeah. Is it a tattoo? Is it not a tattoo?
And it's not.
Matter?
Well, first of all, the big issue is like, why is she got it? It's like the inside of her thigh.
Okay. Well,
So everybody's like, that's a freaky place for her to have a tattoo. And, some people are turned on by it. Some people are a little crazy. Some people are like, why she got so much? Why she got USA on it? It turns out it was this stuff called KT tape.
if you've ever watched
Yeah.
Olympic volleyball, you know what it is.
Yes.
Yeah. And it just so happens that they made, the company, KT Tape, made nation-specific tape for all of the teams, or most of the teams.
Uh-huh.
Later on, you see skiers and biathletes and people who are competing in outdoor events are actually putting it across their face to try and keep warm,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cold.
which...
He's very cold.
Which KT Tape has come out and said, we do not condone putting our tape on your face because it may be hard to remove. However, we're going to work with the trainers to see if this is a good application for it in the future.
So,
yeah.
the big controversy I've been seeing is talking about how figure skating is now scored.
I have no idea.
So, okay.
I never knew how it was scored to begin with, but okay.
So here's the problem. Okay, so there's this team skate thing going on, right? So there's a Russian guy and a U.S. guy.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. guy did like a double axel, the jump where he spins twice and lands. Okay, the Russian guy does a triple axel, a thing where he jumps up in the air, spins 3 times, and then falls on his butt.
Yep.
The triple spin that fell on his butt scores a higher score than the double axel that was landed perfectly.
Huh?
Yeah. So basically, the scoring system for figure skating right now is actually on the system of, I said it was going to be a triple, so therefore I get a higher score. So,
Well,
that being said, I'm expecting my gold medal to come any day now.
Well, I'm gonna do a septuple.
No, I already called infinite.
Infinite.
I'm still spinning.
I am still
I'm spinning and flipping.
In my mind, I am still spinning.
I'm doing the Pemchenko, so I still win by myself.
I mean,
myself.
They can say, "Hey, they actually qualified for the Olympics," and could actually. I mean,
Well,
technically, Mike has a better chance of being a figure skater because he's actually skated, unlike me. But I figure
he does have a point.
I figure I actually have a better chance of winning, though, than you, Mike. Because
That's true.
Because I actually haven't skated. So the fact that
Yes.
I haven't skated, but I have thought about skating,
Yes.
means that I should have.
But see, but then
I have heard in many movies, if you think it, you can do it.
But then we're all screwed because the sumo wrestler is going to come out on skates. Finishing it off, the baby bird. No, I think the reason that is it sounds like figure skating is kind of like gymnastics at this point, where you say what you're going to do and you are given a base score based on the difficulty of what you say you're going to do, and then you basically add or subtract to that based on how well you do it.
Here's the funny thing, though.
Okay. Before I forget this joke,
please do.
Everybody loves a remake, right? Now.
No.
Blades of Glory is not that old, but it's old enough where we could do a remake. Because I just saw Jumanji, I want Kevin Hart and The Rock in Blades of Glory.
Oh, God. No. Yeah. No. Maybe Blades of Glory 2.
Okay, yes. More Blade here.
So
Blades of Glory 2. Twice as glorious. I don't know.
Yes. The glory hole, we'll call it.
So, the American skater, just before he skated, they had this talking head interview with him, right? Where he's talking about. And so I did, rewatching that. First off, this is the guy who's been bad-mouthing Pence so much because he's the very gay figure skater guy.
Well, I don't mean to be judgmental here, okay? And but are there any non-gay figure skaters? I mean,
yes, he's one of the commentators. That's Hamilton. Definitely
Scott Hamilton.
Gay. Scott Hamilton, definitely not gay.
Okay.
That's as far as I know.
Yes.
He may have been the last one.
Since Johnny Weir is also there.
Okay, is Johnny Weir the commentator?
Yes.
That is way out. I mean, there's gay, and then there is,
he actually stands there like a woman with one leg crossed in front of the other, and I'm like, anatomically, that doesn't make any sense.
All right.
Just because
is there any shock that Johnny Weir was on Lip Sync Battle against Tara Lipinski this past week?
Well, it's the two of them are a team.
Right. So, is it any surprise that Johnny Weir, for his second round, his big costume number, did a Lady Gaga song?
No.
Dressed as Lady Gaga. Is it any surprise?
Well,
no, it was not.
The surprise would be if he didn't do Born This Way.
So
that's exactly what he did.
I knew it. I knew it.
So if anybody hasn't seen the Olympics this year, Johnny Weir is dressing up like he's about to be the commentator for the Hunger Games.
Or RuPaul's Drag Race.
Let's see here.
This is full-on Hunger Games.
Let's see if we can find some of what we are talking about. God damn. There is a woman who got rid of her bouffant 10 years ago who is going, I rocked it better. But there is not many.
Actually, Leslie Jones commented and said, hey, I wore that at the BET Awards.
This young gentleman is who we're talking about, for those that are curious. Yes, he is. There's no other word for it. He is fabulous.
Yes.
Mama Blair correcting us that flamboyant is the term we should be using.
Oh, did we say flaming? Yeah. Sorry, that is. You're correct.
No, listen.
Okay.
He is very flamboyant. His claim to fame, I never even knew he was an Olympic skater until I watched that first and only season of Skating with Celebrities. If anybody remembers that train wreck of a show.
My wife asked me when she saw this, she goes, "What is that?" And I'm like, that's an Olympic male figure skater.
Yeah.
Like, can't you tell from the smile?
He's happy to be.
He is a very, very happy man.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's not. That's no.
But okay, so back to the point I was trying to make. So he did this interview, and he basically said that he knows that he's not as good at skating as the rest of them doing those huge tricks. But what he's going to do is do the smaller tricks, and then when they all fall down, then he'll be there to scoop up the medals. And now I was like, but that doesn't work because you still get a lower score, even though they weren't able to do the big tricks.
Well,
So
no, because if they fall, they still get a deduction. I understand, but this is the Olympics.
Yep.
You got to go big. You got to go home.
Exactly.
That's
So-
you playing strategy at the Olympics in an event like that does not work.
All right, we have to
It did work though on slopestyle,
now.
which is why America got the gold.
Now we have to look at this because it begs to be looked at. But in 2016, evidently there was a website or a portion of a website called the 2016 Johnny Weir Olympic Outfit Tracker. All right, so here are some of the fashion
Why?
trends.
There was no Olympics in 2016.
No, but evidently he was making news on Instagram or Twitter or somewhere. So here are some of his fashion trends. Nice bows, and great rings. And boy, shorts with those shoes, that takes guts right there. I'm not sure what kind of guts, but guts nonetheless. Boy, those look like cotton balls on a
Okay,
big
let's
coat.
just stop for a second.
Yep.
Is anybody else disturbed at how much he looks like Tom Hiddleston?
A little bit, yeah.
Is anybody else disturbed how old Tom Brokaw is?
Well,
No.
oh my God, I didn't even realize that was Tom Brokaw.
All right, now this is a head hair accessory that not many people can pull off, but
I mean, look, I'm not even lying. If one of these outfits don't make him look like Loki, I'm going to be very upset.
Okay.
Somebody needs to Photoshop him as Loki real quick. Please, Carlos, Isabel, you listening?
All right.
Johnny Weir is Loki.
There's not many people that can pull off a sheer blouse because there's no other word to describe that shirt. You are a very secure man. Very, very secure. Oh my God. Colin, I'm getting you that for Christmas. I'm going to see if they make it in your size.
Those boots are not made for walking, I'm just going to say right now.
I mean, that is that right there. That's the tamest outfit that he has had so far.
Okay, use that one instead.
Okay, we're going to use that one instead. So let's see here. Oh, Tom Hiddleston and Johnny Weir. What could be better? Oh, I wish they had a Who Wore It Better.
See?
So, yeah. So, oh boy.
See?
Oh my. Oh my Lord.
Oh my God.
Complete with
I'm telling you.
yes. So, anyway. Oh, if only Thor Ragnarok was on ice. Yep. So,
Look, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. I don't know how the hell he was able to do that last move on skates because I'm looking at that like, oh my God, I'm in pain just looking at that.
yeah. So,
I mean, I'm sure there have been times where I have done that, not on purpose, and with nowhere near the level of control that he has.
but
Wow.
I mean, all we can say is go USA.
Yeah,
That's
well,
really all we
exactly.
can say.
So far, it's been a fun Olympics. It was interesting watching the brother and sister team doing curling.
Didn't we win curling?
No,
I thought we won curling.
we very, very lost curling.
Oh, darn. I thought we won curling.
Yeah, they only beat 2 other countries in the.
I thought we did good.
No.
Well.
But there's a lot of
Have
problems.
we won anything?
Oh yeah, we've won a gold, 2
All
golds.
Only 2 golds.
Oh, right now it's all Nordic stuff. So Nordic wins. It's like biathlon, cross country. It's all stuff that Norway automatically wins. We got our very, very first men's single luge.
This is saying Germany's in first right now.
Germany has 4 golds,
1
And
silver
I think
and 2 bronze.
I think at least one of them was in speed. No, not speed skating.
So Norway has the most number of medals.
Yes,
Right, they do. They have 9 total, 2 golds, 4 silvers, and 3 bronze. But, as far as, we grade, we average out our grades here. So, looking at golds, Germany's in first, followed by the Netherlands, then Norway, then Canada, and then us. So we're technically in 5th.
Yep.
And we're a come-from-behind country.
We are.
So
if you go back and look at 2014 medal count, you'll see that we actually were number 1 in the end.
Yep. So
so far, the U.S. has gotten 2 golds, both in snowboarding.
Yep. Because everybody else was blown away.
Neither of which was by
Shaun White.
Shaun White.
No, because that's a different
Category.
Oh, that's half pipe. That's not slope style. Okay.
Yeah.
We won a silver in luge.
First medal in luge, period.
And team figure skating won a bronze, thanks in part to Mirai Nagasu, who has the USA thigh tattoo.
Evidently, there is a fairly large U.S. cheering section, considering where it is this year. And I was reading an article today that said that there are 3 levels of cheering. All right. And here they are in ascending order. You cheer for everyone. Then you cheer for the friends of your country. So in our case, it would be like France, England, Australia, etc. People we're friends with. And then it's your country. And boy, there's a difference in your country for everybody else, because evidently there was a group of women who, when it was USA's time, even though it's -5 wind chill, they decided to disrobe for the losers. And they went topless to show their support for USA.
Losers.
So, several people took Twitter photos of the women with American flags painted on their chest. I guess it's just a party attitude, and that extends beyond Olympic Village.
Yeah, and then
That just win or lose, we still love you.
and then there's the separate category of Leslie Jones,
Yeah.
whose Twitter videos are still amazing.
I pretty much owns Twitter at this point.
But she'll be at the Olympics in person here pretty soon. That's going to be. She was watching luge.
Yeah.
She's like, if I was there, I'd be like,
Yeah.
I'm just going. If Leslie Jones is actually there, I'm not sure if the cameras are going to be able to handle the sound level coming from her.
Yeah.
Listen, luge is one thing. Luge is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not as crazy as skeleton, though.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think
Yeah.
she's never watched luge before. And she's like, this is the craziest thing ever. And I'm looking at it going, oh, when she sees skeleton, she's going to go insane.
And I hope I'm correct when I say this. For those who don't know, luge, you're on your back sliding down on the sled.
Yes.
Skeleton, you are face forward,
Yes.
like Superman on the sled, going down the chute.
You're laying on your stomach head first.
So if you crash in luge, it's going to be brutal, but your feet are first.
Yeah,
You crash in skeleton,
usually,
your head.
usually either way, it turns out not to be like on luge. You don't really hit feet first that much. If you actually fall off, then you're just falling off, and you just land on your back.
True.
So
Mama Blair says Leslie and curling was funny.
Yeah, she doesn't understand curling. She's like,
No.
this is not an Olympic event. What is this?
Our local news channel, and by local I don't mean New York, I mean like community type cable channel. They did a thing because there's a curling club in not probably about 20 minutes from here, and they let her. The reporter was there curling, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, yeah, they're not explaining anything about the game itself. They're just
they're doing a very bad job.
Now, let me ask you this: has downhill skiing gone on yet?
No, because it's been too windy.
Okay, because has everybody read about Tonga's Tafatafo?
Yeah, he was not doing downhill skiing.
I thought he was switching cross country. I'm sorry.
Cross country has been happening.
Has it been happening?
I'm not sure if he's done.
I wasn't sure if Mike. Do you know about this guy?
Is this the topless guy?
This is the topless guy. This is the topless oiled man.
It's about all I know. Rock Jr. We'll call him Pebble.
Yeah. So Pebble made news during the Summer Olympics because he obviously came out in nothing but basically a grass skirt and sandals, oiled up and looking rippled as he does, waving the Tonga flag. He set the internet ablaze with women swooning over him. And, he competed in Taekwondo in that one, and he got knocked out in the first round. But nonetheless, he decided that he would, redouble his efforts, and he would become a double threat. And even though he lives in an island country, he thought, well, it was good enough for Disney, so it'll be good enough for me. I'm going to learn cross-country skiing in a country where it never snows. I think what happened was he got himself a copy of Cool Runnings, and he felt inspired by John Candy. But I did watch a short video about his training. He trained on roller blades. He traveled the world. He actually quit his job and dedicated all of his time and resources to training for cross-country skiing. Now, if it was just a thing of endurance, maybe his Taekwondo skills might transfer over.
Maybe.
And his leg strength might transfer over. Because I think in Taekwondo, there's a lot more kicking and things like that, than in some of the other martial arts. But, this might show his intelligence, I don't know, or maybe he just likes to show off. Yet again, when it was -5 wind chill during the opening ceremony, he decided, nope, what better weather than to wear a grass skirt and sandals, oil myself up, and carry the flag out in the opening ceremony.
Yeah.
Somehow, I don't think he's the smartest person from Tonga. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe he'll be a gold medalist. But he's the only representative in the Winter Olympics from the Tongan delegation.
Tonga. Yeah.
But he wasn't the only one not wearing enough clothing. So.
Okay. I'm sure there probably were some other ones, but
I think pretty much everybody was not wearing enough clothing. It was like minus, and that was without the wind chill. It was like minus.
For the opening ceremonies, actually, it was warmer than they expected. But I'm referring to the people from Bermuda who came in as usual wearing shorts.
Hey, man, listen. There's just some things about the Winter Olympics that. Did I hear it right that there are Nigerian bobsledders too? Did I hear that right? There's a bobsled team from Nigeria.
It's a women's Nigerian bobsled team.
Okay, so it's not the princes who took all our money.
No.
It's not the ones who chopped your dollar. No.
At least now we would know where all that money was going.
And actually, two things about that.
But wait a second. I'm looking at the pictures of the Bermudian team.
Yes, they did have long.
They're
socks.
wearing coats.
Yes.
All right. Yes, they have shorts on, but they have high socks, Bermuda shorts, coats, and I believe scarves, and red noses.
Yep.
The Tongan guy had a grass skirt, sandals, and that's it.
No. He had more than that.
Okay, maybe he wore underwear.
No, he had a ton of oil.
Okay, a ton of oil. Yeah.
And what you could not see was actually slightly ablaze.
That would be the only way to keep him warm. All right.
What he said is that he comes from an island nation. His people cross the Pacific. A little bit of cold is nothing.
Oh, a little bit of cold. Okay.
I figure,
Okay.
It's nothing.
I figure he just went around the track and then immediately put a coat on. I'm sure they had a
Mike,
coat waiting for him.
You may not have seen it. That's the guy we're talking about.
Oh, no, I've seen...
And Colin is saying, oh, that's the same as this.
Oh, no. I'm not saying that's the same as. I'm just saying that he's not the only stupid person out there not wearing enough clothes.
Okay.
Those people definitely are not nearly as stupid. But I'm also not calling him dumb. He just is doing a...
And what the hell is going on? What is up with all these damn teddy bears getting handed out?
Oh, those are the mascots.
Yeah.
But no,
Don't you remember from Blades of Glory that they attacked him?
wait,
Look.
I go back to get a bigger problem here, okay?
Uh-huh.
You're South Korea, right? You're trying to show off to everybody about how your country has such a great culture, right? You're trying to put your best foot forward and say, we're not a stereotype. We're South Korea. We have all this stuff. And the United States comes marching into your arena, and you are dancing like a horse to Gangnam Style. Why weren't you just going ahead and eating kimchi at the same time?
Now, yeah, that is kind of...
Well, but hold on. There was some peace brokered at the Olympics.
Before we go any further, because I had to go play hockey, all right? And the last thing I heard was that the U.S. came out to Gangnam Style. Uh-huh. So, my question is, did Psy light the torch?
No, Psy was not there.
That's the biggest disappointment of these stupid opening ceremonies.
The person who lit the torch was their famous figure skater who won a medal a couple years ago.
Now,
I expect Psy to be there during the closing ceremonies, which is the one that's supposed to be the big party.
Okay, because in Russia, the opening ceremonies was the big party. Probably because everybody was good, like, okay, I'm done. I'm getting the hell out of here. And I still have nightmares about the Russian army singing Pharrell's and Daft Punk's song.
Oh,
okay.
No.
This one was the...
We've come too far together.
No, instead we had some random Korean guy singing Imagine.
The only thing I was disappointed that I didn't get to see live was the drones forming the Olympic rings.
But those were recorded anyway. Those were back from... they shot that in December.
Now, Mike, as I was saying, there was some peace brokered at the Olympics. Because what people may not know, it was a secret mission. But Trump flew over there because he knew that North Korea sent their delegation. In addition to their 200 cheerleaders, they sent Dear Leader to the Olympics. And Trump and Dear Leader started doing a little bit of pressers. And, they found they had a lot in common. Leadership style, maybe even a little clothing style. We have some pictures, Mike. Here's one. Here's my favorite one. So, you can't doubt that that's Trump. Obviously, he's got the red hat. He can't do Make America Great Again. I mean, he's at the Olympics. You don't want to do anything too political, so just a USA hat and then the signature red tie.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's obviously not Trump. He's way too thin.
Well, what you see normally is his body double, just in case somebody wants to shoot him. This is really Trump. That's why...
Now... I hate to say it, but that actually looks like my stepfather.
So
that actually looks like they dug up Colonel Sanders.
Let me tell you about this $5 box.
Have you seen the newest Colonel Sanders?
The one with Reba McEntire?
Yeah. Just a woman now.
I want him to go back to Norm Macdonald. I really liked Norm.
Well, Norm came back briefly. He was in the chimney, but he came back briefly.
Yeah, he did. You're right. Just yeah.
But yeah, so those were actually impersonators. They went. Yeah, really. I mean, it was hard to tell. I know they were really spot on. But they got into the Olympics. They did some walking around. They took some pictures, set Twitter ablaze, and then they summarily got kicked out. Nobody knows who they're associated with. Nobody knows anything about them. All they know is, hey, Trump and Kim Jong-un showed up to the Olympics.
Man,
if you're going to pull a prank like that, you got to advertise yourself. You've got to say, hey, this is us.
I just love how the Western press has to go. And there's a guy who's impersonating Trump and another guy who reportedly looks like Kim Jong-un. Because, none of us can actually say he looks like Kim Jong-un because there's someone said, they don't look anything like him.
I saw some side-by-sides, and he was pretty darn close. It was a lot better than Trump.
I'm just saying we got to be careful to stay away from the, all Asians look alike.
Yeah.
Now, you're joking about the body double and all.
Uh-huh.
But did you hear the thing that Trump's daughter-in-law today had to be rushed to the hospital because somebody mailed her a letter that had an unknown white powder in it?
No, I didn't read that.
Pretty sure at this point that it's just cornstarch, but still.
Yeah, the last report that I read before we went on the air was that it was tested by NYPD and it's harmless, but they took her to the hospital as a precaution. I really don't want to get into political and State of the Union right now, but shit's getting real, bro.
Yeah.
It's starting to get, it's going to get serious real quick.
I'm going to do this. I mean, yes, things were sent all the time to Obama. But I don't remember anybody ever sending envelopes of cornstarch to Obama's brother.
Well, according to this, Vanessa Trump married Trump Jr. in 2005. They have 5 children. In March 2016, Trump Jr. was sent a white powder that was later determined to be safe. A month later, an envelope containing white powder was sent to Trump Tower. So evidently, this isn't the first time.
It's fundamentally, people be crazy.
Yeah, people be nuts. That's why we have the rule in there that you can't kill any of your death pool picks.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so...
we had to have that rule in there.
So subject change.
Yeah.
I think I put a link in for that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So, let's see if I can find it.
So Colin sent in. Oh, while we're looking at that, I was watching an old episode of Man Plan, or I don't know, something. It was one of the old British shows where they shot the ashes of a cat and a bird up into space. Or almost space. They did it with weather balloons, so you can't get too far up there. Mm-hmm. And it got me to thinking, especially after I watched Elon Musk shoot his Falcon Heavy rocket in, which, by the way, did you guys see that?
We'll come back to that.
Okay, we'll come back to that. And I thought, well, Trump wants to privatize the International Space Station.
Yeah, it came out today.
And, what else can we privatize? And why aren't we putting more ashes into space? I'm thinking we got people are freezing themselves with cryogenics. Why aren't folks launching themselves into space after they die? Because we're running out of room to put folks. Mm-hmm. All right, down here. So I did a search because I'm like, okay, if I've thought about a business, somebody else thought about it first. And it turns out that at Celestis Memorial Space Flights, which was established in 1994, you can actually pay to have your remains shot into space.
You are aware that you just jumped off of Colin's article into your article, you selfish bastard, you.
Well, I didn't.
He found the article first.
I actually didn't know which article he was going to jump to, so I thought I'd just hop in for a second. So
That's not the article I was going to, but
All right.
I know it wasn't.
So real quick, because I don't think there's a whole lot here, but
How much it costs?
all right, so it actually does tell you. For once, they actually have prices. Go figure. So the question is, what kind of a space burial do you want, Mike? All right. Do you want your remains to go up and come back down so that you will experience the orbit and then come back down? You'd be a real spaceman.
Yeah.
So if you,
it's cheap though.
but let's just say if you want that, it's only $1,300. If you want your, folks who, you don't have kids, but the people who take care of your affairs to say, hey, listen, now I'm burying a spaceman, $1,300. Now, if you want to go up, orbit the Earth, and then burn up in the atmosphere, well, that's $5,000. Evidently, it costs more to burn you up than it does for re-entry. I don't know why. That's just what it costs.
It's one
Calculations associated with the orbit.
Yeah.
Because one, you get a model rocket, you shoot it straight up, and it comes straight back down.
Yeah.
And you don't actually have to get up to escape velocity.
All right.
Probably has to do with FCC clearance, or not FCC.
Now, Mike, how much would you
FAA.
pay? How much would you pay to have your remains on the moon? I mean, this is bargain basement pricing.
I don't want to be on the moon, man. Unless somebody can prove to me the Transformers are there, I don't want to be on the moon.
Well, for
or Tommy Lee Jones.
For $12,500, you could join, Tommy Lee Jones on the moon. That's $12,500. But if you have aspirations of going further, all right, if you want to keep on going well beyond the moon, it's the same damn price, $12,500.
That's a heck of a lot cheaper than actually being buried.
Yeah, I was looking at this going, wow, this is about the same cost as a funeral.
Yeah.
Now, the only problem is you still have to pay for the cremation. So you still have at least $2,000 or $3,000 to add on to this. But, say you don't do a visitation or anything else, and you just say, hey, if you want to see me, look up.
Now, see, going back to...
Okay, so...
Yeah.
Well, here's my thought.
Yeah.
I buy a star.
Yeah.
And that's like $200. You buy a star, and that star up there is mine. I'm gonna pay, if I'm paying you $12,000 to launch me, to just let me go. I want to go to that star. You better aim for that star.
I wonder if
that's where I want to go.
Yeah, you can't, because you may have to. Anyway.
I wonder if you could.
Don't tell me I can't.
I wonder if you could say, "Hey, listen, I'm going to buy 5 spots, and just let me pick the destination," because they're just shooting it out there.
What is it? If you aim at a star and he shoots something that way, by the time it gets to where the star was, the star is not there anymore.
Well, right.
Don't go pissing in my Cheerios.
But what you can do is do something very similar to what I do, which is when I'm at.
When you die?
No. When I'm at Disney, I go to the Disney.
He goes to Space Mountain, and that's where we're gonna launch. That's where we're gonna drop his ashes at.
I go to the Art of Disney store, right? And they have all these cool artwork stuff for way too much money. And I've decided that is my private art gallery where all of my art is stored. And Disney is nice enough without me having to pay them
to hold on to it for you.
To hold on to it for me. And swap it out with new stuff. So every time I go, I got some new stuff and some old stuff to look at. So you look at this star, and it's like, okay, it's my star. I paid $200 for it. And everything that I am made of is already at the star. So therefore, I'm already at the star.
Getting way too philosophical for my ass.
And then you don't have to pay any money.
But I'll tell you what, I'm sure you're probably one of the people that go, because I don't know if you want buried or cremated or what.
Probably, I think everybody's switching to cremated.
I think everybody is switching that way too. You probably want your ashes spread at Disney now, don't you?
No, because that is a problem at Disney.
Okay.
Especially at the Haunted Mansion.
Okay.
People like to surreptitiously spread people's ashes.
Yeah, okay.
Well, as you know, when I was there a couple months ago, the Haunted Mansion broke down.
Uh-huh.
And so I had to walk off the ride.
Right.
And I got to see what is on the floor of the Haunted Mansion.
It's everybody's ashes.
It's sawdust.
Uh-huh.
They have sawdust down on the ground. I'm sure that they can just periodically go through and sweep up all the sawdust and make sure that anything is taken out of the ride. So if someone were to spread your ashes in a Haunted Mansion, then you'll be able to rest knowing that your ashes have been thrown away with the sawdust.
I'd go off the path and I'd go into the grass and litter them there along the the walkways in between rides and stuff like that.
What I think Colin needs to do is have his ashes made into a brick. I see where they can take your ashes and make them into a gem or whatever.
Yeah.
Make his into a brick that can then be placed on Main Street, USA.
Oh, that's
actually
idea.
a good idea for Disney to do.
Yeah, they should memorial bricks.
But there's already.
Why can't they come? That could fund their streaming service.
Okay, we could.
We could come up with new ideas for them on how to fund everything.
Let's back to
all right.
The story I was going towards.
Yeah.
Yes.
Off the death pool. So I was going through news and I saw a headline. Guess who died? Christopher Lloyd cast in NBC comedy pilot. And I saw this because I had quotes around Guess Who Died. I was like, wow, they decided to make a new TV show based off our death pool. It's amazing. I looked in and it's like, after I saw what it was actually going to be, and I was like, actually doesn't seem too far off. I have no idea Christopher Lloyd kind of looks like he's dead, so it should be interesting. The other interesting thing that came out that was maybe much happier is that BattleBots has been renewed.
Yeah.
I do like me some BattleBots.
And one of our listeners is actually contemplating bringing his BattleBot out of retirement.
Wow.
Because of this, yes.
So
sounds like they might need a PTR Radio sticker to put on that.
Yeah. So BattleBots, it's coming to Discovery Channel and Science Channel this time, not ABC. But Farouk, the announcer, has already said on Twitter that he's ready to go. So hopefully at least the announcer will still be there. But
you think maybe they could get Grant Imahara to also be to co-announce?
I don't know. I mean, he does have Discovery Channel does have connections with Grant.
So
and Grant, for those who don't know, did have a BattleBot.
Yeah, I mean, because rather than competing, I would like to see him in like a color commentary type, role. I think that would be good.
Yeah, that would be good.
He could, he could be the Cotton. ESPN 8 the Ocho.
So SpaceX.
All right, SpaceX Falcon Heavy.
Falcon Heavy.
All right, we posted about it on our Facebook wall.
Well, before we get to that, we have a comment from a new listener, Mary, asking what's wrong with the normal funeral. Well, the reality is the problem is we're running out of space.
Yeah,
that's the problem. We're running out of graveyards. We're running out of cemeteries and mausoleums.
Amazingly expensive. I mean, you have no idea how expensive those things are.
We will tell you, there is nothing wrong with a regular funeral if that is your choice and you have a spot to be buried.
Exactly.
All right, it is completely your choice. We're not telling you anything. We're just saying, this is what we're choosing to do. Right now, my wife and I have pretty much decided that we're going to go cremation just because, one, while I do have burial plots, they're in a spot nobody would ever visit, so what's the point? All right? And I don't want to make somebody feel like they have to come somewhere to visit. It's not the way that prayer works necessarily, so, why should it be the way that works?
But you're right. There's not. We're not saying there's anything wrong with, but because of the amount of people on the planet, there's only so many square feet.
Yeah.
To bury people. That's part of the problem. So there has to be more creative ways to. I hate to use the phrase dispose of the bodies.
Yeah, I mean, to build onto your question, what's wrong with the Viking pyre? Why don't we put people out on a floating barge and burn them at sea? We might as well do that.
Health and safety, bro.
Yeah, but it's cool as hell.
Bad for the environment.
I mean, if it's good enough for Doctor Who, it's good enough for us.
I mean, yeah, okay. Look, it's cool, but that fire don't burn hot enough. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Kim's writing in saying everyone should be cremated, less expense and less of a burden. Well, again, everybody's going to have an opinion about this.
Yeah.
And it's going to be influenced by your religious views. It's going to be influenced by your upbringing. It's going to be influenced by your family. But
I know that
all we're saying is there are options out there, including launching into space, which could piss off aliens.
I mean, I know until fairly recently, Catholics were against cremation.
Which is why in New Orleans, they had these special crypt ovens that basically people would just naturally be burnt up by the sun pounding on the things.
Yeah.
And then they would just open it up after about 10 years and just push everything into the back and shove somebody else in.
So
because they're all Catholics there.
I mean, it's all up to your opinion. We're not here to tell you one way or the other. We're just here to say, hey, do what you want to do. Do what makes you happy and what you've told other people. That's one of the big things that I will say that we will encourage you to do is tell other people what your decision is. Because so many times your decisions aren't shared with people, and then it's up to them to decide what you would want. Make it clear, make a plan. If you have specific things you want, if you want Highway to Hell played during the funeral march, make sure it's written down and people know it. We're all for whatever you want to do. We're just telling you our opinions. We're just three guys sitting around talking into microphones.
On average, a burial costs twice as much as a cremation.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a financial component to it too. I do know that for the homeless population, for the transient population, where there is no family to call or anything like that, and the counties and the states have to pick up the funeral costs, traditionally those are done as cremations. In most cities and states. So just simply because where would you put everybody? It just doesn't work. So with that,
okay,
said,
SpaceX. Thank you.
Yes.
So I actually watched the launch live.
As did I.
I
went
did
to
too.
work early, and then I took a late lunch and watched it on my laptop.
I sucked up state resources to watch it, as did many of my coworkers, because we can't be bothered to all watch on one machine. But it was awesome.
My heart,
from my perspective,
my heart was beating so hard when that thing was off. I was like, and then because the big thing was, as Elon Musk said, the big thing was just getting it off the launch pad without breaking the launch pad.
I watched a follow-up interview, and he said, prior to launch, I gave it a 50-50 chance of just blowing up on the pad.
Yes. That was his pre-launch interview. His post-launch interview was that he had this vision of a tire, a burning tire bouncing down the down the road with a Tesla logo just thumping down into the ground.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know what Falcon Heavy was,
it is.
Or is. So this is what it looked like basically on the launch pad.
Yep.
Prior to going live or prior to launch. And they had several delays in launch because of upper atmosphere wind conditions.
Right.
It just wasn't favorable to launch. And a lot of people said, wow, this is a problem. This is showing that they aren't ready, blah, blah, blah. But those same problems would have held up a NASA launch.
Right.
Okay.
Actually, no, this was their first launch attempt.
Well, this was their first launch attempt of Falcon Heavy.
Yes.
But not of a Falcon rocket.
No, but I saw someone say, one of the news organizations after a launch said, after several failed attempts, they launched it. I'm like, failed attempts? This was the first attempt.
Yes. Yeah. No, what I'm saying is...
Yeah, well...
They had several times when they were going to launch, and it kept getting pushed back.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about, is they kept saying, okay, we're going to go launch at noon. We're going to launch at 2. We're going to launch at 4. And those kept getting pushed back because it just wasn't favorable to launch.
Yeah, it was pushed back by 75 minutes.
Yeah. So, but it did launch, and it was just incredible. I wasn't very old when the first space shuttle went up, but I can only imagine that it was a similar feeling, because this was the first launch I was genuinely excited to see, because one, the hype had been building around this. Elon Musk, if nothing else, he knows how to build anticipation for something. I mean, he is great at marketing. And, if you want an example of that, Tesla has never made a profit. All right. But their stock is doing great.
Well, no, there's no stock.
Well, there's stock for Tesla.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's no stock for SpaceX.
Yeah, no stock
but there's
for
stock
SpaceX.
for Tesla.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but the big thing was one of the goals of SpaceX is to reduce the cost of space missions by reusing components, not small components either. NASA, when they would launch, they would jettison the boosters, they would capture the boosters, and they would reuse the engine only. All right? The storage tanks and everything else, they would not reuse. NASA would recycle the actual engine itself after it was retrofitted.
Both of the solid side boosters were 100% reused. But it took a long time.
It took a long time. There was not a quick turnaround.
Because they landed directly in the ocean, and they had lots of damage from the salt.
Yeah.
But they were 100% reused.
Well, and that brings me to what I thought was the absolute coolest part of Falcon Heavy's launch. Shaq, can you pull the picture back up real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Or shall we find the picture of the?
Yeah.
So, what you're looking at is basically the center part is just like the space shuttle.
Which, by the way, somebody told me that the design of this had to have been done by a man because it's awfully phallic shaped.
It is very phallic, yes. The two struts on the side, those are basically like the rocket boosters on the space shuttle. And when they separate, the coolest part of this whole launch to me was watching those rocket boosters come back and land on designated pads.
Oh, yeah. Simultaneously.
Yes. So their GPS controlled burn, and they landed straight up on their pads. Supposedly, and I don't think the actual live stream showed it, but the center portion landed on the drone ship. Did it not?
It failed.
Tried.
That failed. Okay.
Yeah.
So, quick, I watch almost every single SpaceX launch. So I've seen these things land over and over again. Seeing two of them land simultaneously was just amazing.
It was, wasn't it?
So real quick, in case anybody doesn't know this information. So the three things, the one in the middle and the one on either side of it, those are basically Falcon 9s.
Okay, here, hold on. I actually have the video up.
Yep. So that's the...
So this is the two side boosters coming down.
Yep.
All right, so this is just the bit where they're starting to come down.
This is actually the original, just to say, this is the original incorrect footage.
You said this was incorrect footage?
Yeah, there was a technical error when they first did that. So when you were seeing that from the camera on the actual rockets, it was actually the same rocket twice.
Oh, okay.
They fixed their footage later, but it looks like that copy was made from the original. Anyway, so the two side rockets, actually not only are they Rocket 9s, those were two different versions of the Rocket 9 that have already been used before.
Yeah, they said that they were hybrids of 3 and 4.
Well, they are 3 and 4.
Yeah,
they're not hybrids. They are a 3 and a 4. They are what they call flight proven rockets, meaning that they've actually used them to launch a satellite in the past. The central rocket is also a Falcon 9, but it's been heavily modified with additional struts and stuff inside it to make it stronger, because it has to have the lift of both of the other ones.
Which during the video they referred to that portion as the core.
Yes. Now, what happened is that there's actually a chemical they use to spray. It's a green chemical. They spray that chemical to, that's the igniter. And what happened on the central core is they actually had to start the engines up multiple times because the central one was actually not throttled up all the time. The two side ones were.
Right.
And because they had to start that rocket multiple times, they actually ran out of the ignition fluid. And that's why the central core failed to land. However, none of the rockets were actually what they call Block 5, the current version of the rocket. So they were not planning to relaunch any of them again.
Yeah.
The big thing is that the two side boosters had the new titanium fins at the top to help guide them down. And those are really expensive.
Yeah.
The central core didn't have that. So they were really happy to get back the two side boosters, partially because it was a really cool shot when they both landed, but mostly because they wanted the two side fins.
Now, the central core did come down. It came down close to the to the drone ship.
Very fast.
Very fast.
We're waiting for that video. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. But the problem was, like Colin said, it ran out of fuel, but it didn't. It ran out of starter fuel, but it still had fuel in the tank.
Yeah.
And so they were initially going to haul it back.
No.
Hold on.
That's previous launch.
Well, they were going to haul it back because I just read this article today.
Yeah.
They were going to haul it back, but there was a safety concern.
That's the previous rocket.
Okay, because they said that they destroyed it with a demolition team.
They did, but that was a previous rocket.
Okay. All right.
The central core smashed into the ocean at 200 miles or 200 or 300 miles an hour and was a big explosion.
Okay.
There was a previous, the launch that was just before Falcon Heavy, which launched a government satellite.
Okay.
That rocket was just supposed to splash into the ocean and destroy itself while they did some testing of a different way of slowing them down.
Oh, okay.
And it miraculously didn't crash into the ocean. It actually just kind of plopped into the ocean and went on its side.
And I think the reason why that article came up today, not that you would think that it would pop in, but that news item has been hot and heavy because they say that the satellite was lost. All right, on that mission.
No, that's the one before that one.
Okay.
2 ago.
But there's so many missions now. You know, NASA didn't do this
so
many.
What you're talking about is the Zuma mission, which went up, and people think the satellite probably came back down. But it's classified, so nobody actually knows that for sure.
Right. All we know is it's not SpaceX's fault.
Yes.
According to SpaceX. But that doesn't matter. One thing I'm 100% certain about is inside Falcon Heavy, unlike having a brick of concrete or something else very, very heavy, because remember, this was just a test flight. That's what people need to understand is it's a test flight, so anything else after launch is just bonus.
Yes.
All right?
Lots of bonuses.
Lots of bonuses, but it's just a bonus. That's like everybody was like, oh, they're overshooting Mars. Okay, that was just an idea, all right?
They said that we're going to turn the rocket on and see how much fuel is left in it. Not, we're going to go directly to this spot in space.
Yeah, they didn't plan on it, you know. And then they said, oh, we're going to hit the asteroid belt. And some, astrophysicist said, no, you're not. No. Okay, so we don't care. No, we're going until it falls apart. Who cares?
The people who were complaining about the accuracy of the statements are the same people that are complaining that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson could not make that jump on the poster in the movie Skyscraper.
Yeah.
Okay.
And to make it worse, you got people going, well, that car will never survive in space. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, it's this one. Because Elon said, hey, I'm just not just going to put a chunk of concrete out there. I'm putting a Tesla. I'm going to launch my car. Because as Neil deGrasse Tyson said, that's just the American thing to do. All right? Neil deGrasse Tyson hasn't talked hardly at all about SpaceX, but he did reference the Falcon Heavy launch. And he said, yeah, putting a car in space, that's just American.
So there are people complaining
Yeah.
that the Central Core failed to land,
Yeah.
and they didn't go to Mars. They went too far. And I have a video of those people that I just sent to Shaggy to play.
Yeah, hold on. Let me get this. Yeah. Let's we're going for how many copyright infringements can we get in a single night?
So here's a video of the people complaining.
Yep, here we go. They wouldn't be happy. Okay, and I can't get any sound out of it.
Thanks for being Art. Dad. Thanks for being here. The little lights are not twinkling. I know, Art, and thanks for noticing.
Yeah, there's the people complaining about Falcon Heavy.
Yeah.
Little lights aren't twinkling.
So, you know,
Look, this is an exciting time because it's bringing us one step closer to affordable space travel.
So,
yeah.
So NASA has been building their SLS. The SLS has been budgeted like $1 billion per launch, and the SLS can lift a lot more than the Falcon Heavy.
Well,
But it's
which let's be
$1 billion.
honest. Let's be honest. The Falcon Heavy, every time they said it's the largest rocket, they had to add the qualifier currently in service.
Yes,
because the
Correct.
Saturn V was much more powerful.
Nothing beats the Saturn V.
All right.
But $1 billion. Okay, so how much does if you wanted your own Falcon Heavy to carry something up for you? There's 3 costs.
All right. There's the initial cost.
Oh, no, depending on
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, I actually know this.
depending on the configuration.
Okay.
So if you're going on a fully returnable Falcon Heavy where they can land all 3 cores, that's $90 million. Not $1 billion. $90 million. Okay?
Yeah.
If you can take having the 2 side boosters land on the drones in the ocean and losing the central core, but you can get a lot more stuff. I mean, that's like a 10% off of the fully expendable version. That's $95 million. It's only an extra $5 million. You can lift something much heavier. Now, if you want to go fully expendable, which only gives you 10% more lift, that's $150 million. So if they just launch the rocket up full thrust and just let it all fall in the ocean and then blow up, $150 million, not $1 billion.
Yeah.
The entire system cost SpaceX about $500 million to develop.
Yeah. Well, and somebody said that their actual cost to send it back up is in the road of like $32 million.
Yes.
To
So they're making a lot of money.
refuel and send it on another, and to refuel and refurb, it's about $32 million.
Yep.
You know, so I mean that's pretty remarkable when you think about it, and how they have hopefully started to make space affordable.
Now,
If you look at their Dragon missions,
yes.
you know, which is when they first start sending people into space, they are actually talking about commercial space flights to the International Space Station for real people.
Now, I just want to say one thing before, because we have to get to the movie review.
Yeah, we got to get to the movie reviews.
I think what makes all of this possible is the fact that Elon Musk has a goal.
Yeah.
And that goal is not necessarily make a bunch of money.
Yeah, no,
His goal is to get humans off this planet and onto to Mars before he dies.
you know, a lot of people hate Elon, and I don't understand all that. You know, a lot of people also hate Zuckerberg, and you know, I don't understand. Yeah, well, I mean, you know, there's just some things that I don't always understand why people hate on that. You know, Elon especially, he is doing things that are important. You know, we saw the large battery capacitor in Australia, which is really making a dent in their energy reserves, and even it's starting to shake up the big power manufacturers. It was reported in the last brownout that they had, that it saved the country over $180 million just during the 12-hour brownout. Because they were able to draw from the battery rather than have to buy at a 400% increase in price from the major distributors. So, he's not interested in making a buck. Now, if he can just get those damn Tesla 3s off the production line, solve that problem.
Oh, I didn't see this. So, Tesla is also getting ready for their next car.
They need to finish fulfilling the 3 first.
But now that the 3 is starting to apparently come up to scratch, they're talking about the Model Y.
Okay. And then what? Next is the why not?
No. First they had the Model S.
Okay.
They had the Model X.
Uh-huh.
The 3 was supposed to be the Model E.
Okay.
But Ford grabbed Model E before Tesla could.
Uh-huh.
So they came up with 3, which is just E backwards.
Okay.
And now they have the Y.
Sexy.
It's sexy.
Okay.
that is not, that is exactly why they did it that way.
Okay.
All I can say is thank God Elon Musk was born in South Africa.
Yes.
Otherwise, after Falcon Heavy's launch, it would be all Musk for president.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
No, he'd make a terrible president.
Well, I agree with that.
Yeah. All right.
Hey.
Now, as is the tradition for our show for well over a year now,
He could just run on the platform. Flamethrower for you! Flamethrower for you! Flamethrower for you! Okay.
Uh,
By the way, I do have a boring hat. I didn't say that before. But I do have a boring hat. I should bring it in next time.
So yes, we did our movie review, and we were gonna do The Saint, but then we got preempted by the Super Bowl and the release of the new Cloverfield movie.
Everybody else was talking about it. It suddenly showed up on Netflix.
So
It's
Colin,
and I said, you know what? We need to get on this bandwagon.
yes, Colin said we got to cash in on this. So we did Rockula and the Cloverfield Paradox. So, Mike, I will let you pick which one we do first.
Well, let's just get rid of Rockula because that's.
Okay.
I don't think we're gonna have.
Well, my only request is that I go before you.
Okay.
So, Colin, do you want to go first?
No, you
I
go
can.
first.
All right, I can go first. I went back to doing my papers, so no off the cuff review today. Rockula. Everybody's fun-loving ski slope bad boy is back at it again, but this time with the Halloween twist. Dean Cameron, previously known as either Chainsaw from Summer School or Dave Marshak from the Ski School franchise, plays Ralph and his mirror image in this 1990 comedy horror musical. Now, I know right now that Mike and Colin both probably hate this movie, and that's just a shame. They obviously don't have elevated tastes in fine theater like I do. You see, there's a very large part of me that really enjoys cheesy vampire movies like My Best Friend is a Vampire, Once Bitten, Transylvania 65000, and Saturday the 14th Strikes Back. I know this has no serious merit as a musical and the acting is done by a bunch of 80s nobodies, but I gotta say I really enjoyed this movie. Even if the singing got a little annoying and the bit with the mirror was starting to get old, I thought it moved fairly quickly and had some genuinely funny moments. The only downside I'll give this film is that I instantly figured out who the fortune teller was, and I was looking for something more behind the meaning of it. It's like the scriptwriter got to the end and had used up all his ideas on bad rap lyrics 10 minutes earlier. But in the end, for me, there's nothing like that golden 90s bad comedy to give me a smile, and that's exactly what I'm giving this movie, a smile rating. I'll probably watch it again, and I know that makes Mike cringe.
Okay, Mike, I better jump in because my review just changed.
Okay.
So, because it's now a 2-part review. Part of it's going to be my original. Part of it's going to be part of my original review, and the other is the new review that will go with it. So, one of my favorite book series is by Larry Correia, and he has vampires in this book, and there's one of the people in the book, they're monster hunters, and they make it clear that in the real world, the only time that vampires glow is when they're on fire. And so this is a movie that's also in that same thing of why are they even vampires? Because the only thing you ever do with the vampire part of it is make them live a while, have something to do with mirrors, and sort of turns into a bat. A bat that's played by Tamara Detrow, the shortest actress who ever worked in Hollywood, and who died. And I think she was in E.T. She was in Ghoulies. She died in 1990 at the age 31. So I look at that stuff and I go, okay, it's another stupid vampire thing. So that's the part from the original review. The new review that goes on top of that is to say, ditto.
All right.
So what's the what? Yeah.
Same thing.
Smile.
Yeah.
All right.
I was somewhat tempted to give it a Shnikes, but decided that the vampire.
Oh my God. I would have had a goddamn conniption if he gave it a Shnikes. Holy hell.
I watched this movie with family, and they loved it a lot as well.
Oh my God.
I know what's coming next. Go ahead, Mike. Vent your frustration.
Okay. I'm just gonna look. I don't have a whole lot of notes on this one.
This is
because I honestly did not know what to think about this. So if Bo Diddley gets a credit in this movie for just saying one single line, I'm going to be very. It's going to be like who was it? Drew Barrymore in Scream. All right. I never realized how much of a hottie Tony Basil was until I saw this movie, which surprising. Mona actually sang her own songs, as did Dean Cameron. That's kind of a surprise to me. Side note, this movie is being re-released for its 25th anniversary on Blu-ray. With interviews with the director and Dean Cameron. I wasn't aware that this movie was actually that big of a deal in 1990, but based on you guys' reviews, I guess you guys are going to be pre-ordering this Blu-ray. No lie.
Yeah.
The Rockula song might be the absolute worst earworm ever. So did either of you guys go through the rest of the day singing "He's Rockula" in their head after viewing this? Anyone? Or is that your ringtone yet?
No, I'm the vampire though. That one was
okay.
Suck.
The rap version was even worse. And seeing Bo Diddley in spandex dancing, that's haunting me for weeks. I haven't slept well since. I have to wonder if this soundtrack was actually released anywhere, because I think the duet that Dean Cameron and Mona actually sing could overtake Butterfly Kisses as the top wedding song ever. Then I don't even want to talk about the man bat thing, because honestly, it really. And then at the end, the Elvis vampire. Okay, now we've really. I gave this a cough. If you're a Dean Cameron fan, you might rate this as a meh. If you're a Thomas Dolby fan and a Dean Cameron fan, you might rate this even higher. If you really hate yourself, though, watch this back to back with Ski School 2 and a movie called Rock and Roll High School Forever, starring Corey Feldman.
Love that movie.
Where they worship the appliances.
Yes.
Yeah. With Namrock. Yeah, no. So I gave this a cough.
Oh.
No, I gotta admit something.
Yeah.
When we first were talking about this movie,
Uh-huh.
I had Dean Cameron confused with Dean Cain.
Oh, the Dean Cain comes back. Oh, that would be a totally different movie.
Yeah.
Oh well.
All right. So now we got to talk about this
Movie.
other
All right.
thing.
I feel like we should have Colin go first since it was his idea.
Okay, I can do that. I'll be going through a little bit more information. Okay, so this is all J.J. Abrams' fault. So he started off with the original Cloverfield, which Shaggy has not seen. That's correct?
No, I have not seen any of the movies except for this one now.
Okay. So
And I don't think that hurt you.
no. And I'll explain why.
No, it didn't hurt me.
So, the original Cloverfield was a cross between Blair Witch and Godzilla.
Godzilla.
So it was a found footage film. So everything was taken like in a handheld camera, supposedly by the actors themselves, but not really. But it's also a monster movie. But the thing was, you never knew in that movie where did the monster come from. Okay. Then you had I can't remember what the number is, but it's Cloverfield Lane. The second movie, John Goodman.
10.
10 Cloverfield Lane. Which I have not actually seen that movie. But I'm assuming that the shelter used in that movie is the same shelter used in this movie. I haven't found proof of that yet, but that was my assumption. Watching this movie. It isn't?
I don't think so.
So that one was a thriller stuck in a shelter with John Goodman who thinks is it bad outside? Isn't it bad outside? I guess at the end she the main character escapes from the shelter and discovers that aliens are attacking the world.
Mm-hmm.
So every Cloverfield movie has been sort of in a different universe. So this movie apparently this movie was originally called The God Particle. But I should explain, the second movie, Cloverfield Lane, was originally had nothing to do with Cloverfield.
Mm-hmm.
J.J. Abrams, as he was the producer of it, decided to make it linked to Cloverfield. This movie was called The God Particle, and as written, had nothing to do with Cloverfield. J.J. Abrams, again, decided to modify it to actually explain the rest of what's happening in all the other Cloverfield movies, which there is a fourth one coming out possibly later this year, I think. We're exactly on that. So, in this movie, on this particular Earth where they're from, the Earth has an energy crisis, which means they're running out of the ability to make electricity. Now, how people who are able to create artificial gravity can't also come up with a better way to make electricity than putting a particle accelerator into space, that doesn't make any sense. But that's okay, because there isn't anything in this movie that makes any sense. The entire movie, from start to finish, you have one actress who does a good job of creating an actual character with backstory. You have a comedian from one of our favorite Britcoms who brings some levity to the proceedings. And then there's some other people in the movie who I've completely forgotten about because, well, they weren't anything more than a one-line from an Asian country and only speaks Asian languages. Russian, but never speaks Russian. Or is it German? No, there's a Russian and a German. Anyway, this movie... It goes along with there's a particle accelerator in space that when it goes off, mixes two universes together, and then one character ended up not being on the space station, and another person is on the space station. But the space station needs to go back to its original place because everything's going bad. But the weird person they found on the space station, there's nothing in this movie that makes any sense. I mean, if you go online and find the plot synopsis and read it, it still doesn't make any sense. There's a bunch of characters mixed between two universes, and people do things, and then you get to the end, and then big monsters are attacking the Earth. And that's the entire movie. I gave this thing. What's our official one thing below meh?
That is a verp. Well, verp's halfway between meh and puke. Was cough?
I think
Just
cough.
Cough.
Cough or gag, one of the two.
Yeah, cough or gag.
Okay, let's go with cough.
Cough.
Okay.
Because this, there is no part of this movie, other than the one actress who actually gave us a good performance and a character. I liked her. There was a movie that could have been built off her. But the way that you have a space station that has spinning parts, and you're like, cool, spinning parts. That explains gravity. And then you have people running through the middle of the station that apparently isn't spinning, but still has gravity for no apparent reason. That's just, I don't know, it was bad.
All right, I'll read mine next if you don't care, Mike.
Go right ahead.
When Colin suggested we watch this, I told him straight away that I hadn't seen any of them, and he said that was okay, and that since this was a prequel, it might actually help. Well, I've now watched it, and I can say it doesn't want to make me want to watch the other two movies. I mean, I like a good space movie, and the idea that an experiment in space can send the station to a parallel dimension is very intriguing. However, maybe if they had done it as a standalone movie and not tried to tie it into the existing franchise, it might have been more successful. I'm just not a huge horror sci-fi fan, and so this movie didn't 100% hold my attention. The acting was okay, and like I said, for those dedicated to the franchise, they probably felt it was all right. But I can't think I was the only one who, after the experiment went all weird and everything stopped working, I was waiting for Chris O'Dowd to say something about turning it off and on again. This would have been a perfect time for that line, because even in space, while they can't hear you scream, they can follow a workflow for tech support. I give this movie a yawn. That's just under meh. Well, I guess I answered my own question there. Because I thought the visuals were good and the story had premise, but they should have taken it a different direction and done something unique with it. That being said, it would have been a different movie then, of course. I guess this is how Mike felt about Sahara.
So, Colin, do you want to change yours to yawn?
No, I've actually decided to go below yawn.
Okay.
All right, so we're back to cough.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, you guys covered most of the stuff, so I'm just going to go right to the bullet points here. Of course, this movie starts with solving the world's energy crisis, because that's how 99% of these sci-fi movies start any day now. Wait a second. Chris O'Dowd is in this? Okay, business just picked up a little bit. But sadly, I noticed that right after they said firing has failed, and I heard his voice ask, "Did you try turning it back off and on again?" Those who don't know that reference that Shaggy and I both made, go watch a series called The IT Crowd, and then you'll understand. Dude just 3D printed a weapon from the same thing that made the chick's bagel. And how did I know O'Dowd's character was going to be the one to make the joke? Well, we found the worms. He was the comic relief in this movie, and I really didn't want him to be. This whole two dimensions mixing thing, this is J.J. Abrams' wet dream, and he's taking full advantage of this in this movie. Drowning in space. Okay, I can't say I saw that one coming. Well, I guess it's not drowning when she wound up being turned into a popsicle. Still, it was a more unique death than any death in Deep Blue Sea. Your mission now depends on an engineer with one arm and a bad sense of humor. What could go wrong? Of course, a magnetic issue where all the repairs were made with magnetic putty. And boom goes the dynamite. When the two female crew members were fighting at the end, they pan to the arm, and the arm is sitting in the case just Did anybody else hope that the arm would get loose and wound up saving Eva by showing up and strangling the blonde chick? I think that was a missed opportunity. And the monster at the end, that was just cheese, okay? There was no reason to put that in there other than to tie this into all of the rest of Cloverfield's everywhere. But like Colin said, this was originally called something else, and at the last minute, So I gave the movie a smirk, which is just above meh. I can't really give it a meh because the movie in and of itself wasn't terrible. If this is kind of like the old people movie, not the Dependables.
Okay.
Was that it? Right?
Yeah.
If they had called it by its original title, God Particle, and removed any reference to Cloverfield, this may not have been a bad movie. I think they hurt it by trying to force it as part of the Cloverfield saga. I kind of feel like they knew this movie was not going to be received well, which is why it dropped with no warning like a Jay-Z album, so that everybody would want to see it because it's got Cloverfield in it. Nobody had a chance to review it.
Right.
And by the time word of mouth got around that it was bad, Netflix already got all their views out of it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's what happened. So this was a full Paramount, Universal. Anyway,
Yep.
This was a
Paramount.
full movie that was supposed to go into theaters and have a full ad campaign going.
I think at this point, Paramount got their money worth. I think they saw a dud
They saw
and said,
it done,
hey.
decided instead of spending the money on all the ads, they sold it to Netflix. Netflix spent like $5 million on one ad. That's it.
Yeah.
One ad. $5 million. It's going to be interesting to see if Netflix gets their money out of it.
I'm sure they got their money out of it.
There's so much of the plot of this movie that did not make... Because, okay, here's an example. There's a character in this movie who has worms in him. Now, and he starts going crazy. But they're not mind worms. They're not alien worms. They're just worms.
Did we ever find out what the hell they do?
They were just worms.
They were just earthworms.
They were just
Why?
earthworms.
Why were they on the spaceship in the first place?
Probably to part of the processing of
Or
Earth.
of waste and
Yeah.
part of the botanical component, probably.
So they're missing.
Doesn't matter. Red matter.
I don't know.
Yes, red matter. Yes.
Yeah.
So they're missing a part of the ship. And it turns out that the same guy who had the worms also has the ship part inside him. The way they find out about this is the
arm
disembodied arm
writes
writes
them
them a note. Now,
Cousin It. Or
Yeah.
no. Is that
Thing.
It or Thing?
thing.
Thing. It was the hairy one.
It was the hairy
The
one.
hairy one. Now, how did the disembodied hand know where it was?
I don't know. Red matter.
How did the ship eat Chris O'Dowd's arm in the first place?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, and why wasn't this said? Why am I?
Have you tried turning it off and on again? Have you tried turning it off and on again? Have you tried turning it off and on again? Have you tried turning it off and on again? Have you tried turning it off and on again? Have you tried turning it off and on again? Have you tried turning it off and on again? Hey, have you tried turning it off and on again? Turn it off and on again. What? Have you tried turning it off and on again? What? Have you tried turning it off and on again? Just try turning it off and on again.
Yeah, I think we got the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay. It comes down time. Pick new movies, Mike.
We're only picking. Well, wait a second, because.
Oh, yeah. We're already picking one.
Yep, we're only picking one movie tonight.
Because we're going to do the same.
We're going to watch The Saint.
I got a lot to say about The Saint.
Have you already watched it?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Okay, so 1 to 33.
1 to 33.
I had a lot more to say about The Saint than I could possibly have said about Cloverfield.
21.
21. A Netflix movie called Where's the Money?
Ooh.
Okay. Let's find a trailer.
So, Where's the Money is... that looks interesting. All right. So, it is a quick-witted young man from the streets of South Central must rush a lily-white USC fraternity to recover a stash of stolen money. It's a comedy. Let's see here. YouTube. Where's the Money?
Who's in it?
Trailer.
Oh, and for the record, Mama Blair wrote in saying that she loved Rockula.
Ah.
A bad flashback moment to paramedics when they started rapping. Good Lord.
And here is the trailer.
South Central, baby. It's no game. Now, I could teach you how to fight, but sometimes your best weapons are your words.
Never thought I'd get this close to a vagina until I was at least 10.
Okay, not family friendly.
We started this gym to keep kids off the streets, but doing good don't really pay the bills.
It's your pops. Now listen, me and your Uncle Leon, we in here for bank robbery.
How much money?
$1 million. The money's in the wall, in this flop house in the basement.
With a guard standing right there.
They're turning the flop house into a frat house.
What are we gonna do?
I'm gonna get in by joining the fraternity. Greetings, gentlemen. I'm here to rush.
Got a perfect name to fit in the fraternity scene.
Chet Buttersworth.
That's my name. It's your pledge, master. I'm about to see who has what it takes. White people, they are terrified of being called racist. First thing you slaves are gonna do is...
Trigger warning.
I'm not sure we should call the pledges slaves this year.
Isn't it more racist to change our tradition simply because we got a black pledge?
Look, I am so glad we're finally having this discussion.
Oh,
my
no.
God!
Uncle Leon.
All right.
Wait. Terry's there.
Okay. And we got Terry Crews as well.
It was saved suddenly.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Is your girlfriend?
Nope.
I mean, she do be liking my pictures on Instagram late at night, so...
Where's my money, Dale?
Why are you guys wearing Klan robes?
No. Our fraternity actually predates the Klan by over a decade, so why are they wearing our robes?
Yeah, y'all wearing Klan robes.
Thinking about all of that money. It's an instant panty dropper.
It's super confusing being a white male in today's society.
How could I hate black people? I ride the bus.
Oh my God.
Oh, dear Lord.
It's not what it looks like.
Looks like you got yourself caught up in some racist fraternity bull.
Well, then it is exactly what it looks like.
Oh, my goodness.
I got the money. I got the...
No, I got the money, mother.
So our charity gala is coming up.
We're gonna make you the auctioneer.
Now, my great-great-great-great-granddaddy would love to hear me say this. Get your billfolds out, because we buying white people today.
Rated R in select theaters October 20th on DVD and digital HD.
All right.
Oh, my God.
Wait.
Yeah.
In select theaters October 20th.
Yep.
On DVD and digital HD
4
October
days later.
24th.
They knew it wasn't going to last long.
Oh, wow.
All right. So,
this is...
we couldn't have picked this at a better time, Mike. YouTube stars in it. That's going down in flames.
God.
And this is gonna be the last movie he's ever in. We get to give and I think this might be the first movie he's ever been in, and it's his last. First and last. We get to rate his entire acting career right here in one movie.
Yeah, no pressure.
I gotta say, when he showed up,
yeah,
I was this close to going, no!
Oh, come on.
And then Terry Crews came in. I was like, oh, well, it's Terry Crews.
And Method Man.
Yeah. I mean...
Yeah, Colin's just like, I don't know, Method Man.
I think we're duty-bound to review this film. I don't think we could veto it.
Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. Sorry.
So, yeah. No, I think we have to. So, all right. Well, that's our... So, The Saint and Where's the Money? Next time.
Wow.
Oh, good. I think it'll be much easier to review those two.
Oh, so folks, this has been another episode of PTR Radio. We're going to be back in 2 weeks. So that'll put us back on the 26th, and we will review those two movies, as well as talk about everything that's happened to us in the meantime. And any other news or anything that comes out. Maybe Elon's going to fire a boring machine into space before then. Who knows? We never know what he's going to shoot into space. But a lot of things could go on. You just aren't sure. I don't have any appearance. I booked another appearance in March. I don't have anything coming up on the calendar in the next couple weeks, though, so I will keep you apprised if that changes. And as always, keep an eye on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram feeds. I did just do some bootlegging of Ski, so we have more of that in the studio. In fact, I'm going to approach the company and ask them if they will be the official soda of PTR Radio. See if we can get some double cola. They've got a Ski high voltage and some other stuff. Maybe even get it shipped to New Jersey, Mike.
Yeah. Look, I don't want sponsors that only you guys benefit from.
So, yeah.
We need to find out how much it costs to ship him some soda.
I don't know, but we'll find out. Because, yep. But with that said, again, ptrradio.com is the website. It's got everything you want to know about us there, and it will be going over a rewrite very soon. But don't forget, check out the Death Pool. It's on there, everything. So with that said, I'm Shaggy.
I'm Colin.
I'm Mike the Ape Man.
Stick a fork in us, folks. We are done. Later.